Morning. Welcome back to the KR Daily Transmissions. My name is Kaia Ra, and I'm the author of the Sophia Code. If you'd like to introduce yourself in the chat, or if you're watching the replay, feel free to say hello and introduce yourself in the comment feed. We love learning more about our community members. And today we're going to continue our journey in the Sophia Code through chapter 1. Yesterday, we were exploring this concept of where the source of our sovereignty comes from, which is the source itself. And we've been exploring content from page 4 of the Sophia Code. So if you have your copy of the Sophia Code, you can turn with me now to that page 4. Just welcoming everyone coming online. Oh, good morning. Oh, what beautiful messages this morning. Hello. Good day, Leela. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Muriel. Good morning, Sophia. Good morning, Donna. So lovely to see everyone coming online. So we were working with these paragraphs where we were talking about the womb space, that primordial space of the Divine Mother's consciousness that gave birth to our soul, that made us in the image and likeness of her presence of divine love and all of the virtues of her divinity that were pretty much like an aspect of herself that became you. And we are all an aspect of this source consciousness of God. And I don't think that we went into this paragraph, which goes into more detail about her womb space. And I'd like for us to read this passage together and then do a quick meditation to visualize this primordial womb together as a community. So if you will go to, we're in section 2 on page 4 of the Sophia Code, and we're going to start from paragraph 4, all right? And I'm going to read it out loud. Before I do that, let's visualize our circle of sovereign empowerment. You're going to visualize a circle of light, could be any color of light. Actually, for me today, I'm visualizing a beautiful iridescent white light. I'm feeling that connection to the Sophia dragons. And you're going to visualize this circle of light appearing around your body about 3 to 6 feet outside your body. And as soon as you see that light, you may feel yourself take a deep inhale or exhale any anxiety, because what this circle of empowerment does is it creates sacred space around your body. And it's stating to the energies around you and the people around you, like, hey, my body is my own body. My energy is my own energy. And I can give to you from a more generous place when I define what is mine and what is yours. Then it steps us outside of any codependent tendencies. And we're able to get very sober through sovereignty, how to love one another from a genuine place, how to care for one another from an authentic place, not from a codependent space. So this circle of empowerment activates your mind to really embrace and embody your sovereign intentions for the day, to live in your power, your personal power, and to accept and allow your personal power to guide your highest choices throughout the day. When you choose to live from that context every single day, you become a different person. You become the person of your highest potential. You learn how to integrate your highest potential, which then only accelerates the momentum of the opportunities that you get to receive into your life. So with this circle of empowerment visualized around you, we also welcome in those 8 revealed key codes in the Sophia Code to stand with you on behalf of your sovereign divinity, to stand with you on behalf of learning how to embrace and accept this invincible light that you are, because the ego structure, the human awareness takes time to accept that you are this magnificent, that you are this holy, that you are this whole unto yourself. And so these ascended masters stand with you in that journey of self-recognition, self-realization, as you spiritually awaken, as you become enlightened to who you really are. And so I welcome White Buffalo Woman in the North, standing with you in the North as a spiritual guide and mentor for your sovereign empowerment. In the Northeast, we welcome Ascended Master Isis, and I'm wearing Isis's pendant today, the Ankh of Immortality. I love this piece. It really keeps my heart connection with Isis clear and strong. In the East, I welcome Hathor and the Hathor Star Nation. Hathor, it activates our voice, activates our genius creativity, activates our willingness to accept the best that life has to offer us. In the Southeast, we welcome Green Tara and the Order of Dakinis. In the West, we welcome, in the South, we welcome beautiful Mother Mary, she of 1,000 roses. In the Southwest, we welcome Mary Magdalene, Jesus, and the entire Order of Magdalena. In the West, we welcome and invoke beautiful Kuan Yin and Mahavatar Babaji. And in the Northwest, we work with an angelic order called the Seraphim, also known as the Sophia dragons in the Sophia code. Notice just how supported and presenced you become within your body, heart, and mind after you invoke these 8 key code pillars of strength and light on behalf of your sovereignty. Your whole body relaxes into an acceptance that you deserve to be this loved, you deserve to be this supported, and you deserve to feel this much of yourself within your human experience. Isn't that nice? If you want to share your reflections in the chat or the replay comments of how your body feels after you invoke your circle of empowerment, feel free to just go ahead and share that in the chat. It's really nice to read everyone's feedback and reflections as to how this daily work is bringing impactful change into your life, how it's helping you to settle into the truth of who you are. And as we settle into the truth of who we are, we allow goodness to flow into our hearts and into our reality and an abundance of blessings. So now that we are within our circle of empowerment, we call forth the presence of your higher self, each of our higher selves, filling each of our individual circles. And that radiance of your higher self is both going to feel like it's downloading directly from a higher source, because it is, into this world, but it's also going to be a radiance that emanates out from every cell of your body. So you could visualize the downloading process as a waterfall of light above your head, flowing down over your crown, down the back of your shoulders, your lower back, flooding your belly and your heart with the pure nectar of your divinity, feeling your womb, your root, your legs, reconnected to the earth and also reconnected to the cosmic source. And I'm just reading some of these comments. Uni feels stable and taller when she invokes her circle of empowerment. Thomas writes in, he's sharing that he feels unity, consciousness. Harmony is offering that she feels more whole when she calls in her circle of empowerment. Gold Purple 777 is writing in that they feel very centered with this circle of empowerment practice. Rebecca is sharing that she feels connected and she feels clarity. Grace is writing in, and Grace is saying, I feel more safe and secure in their relationship with the Ascended Masters. Hi, Mercedes. I'm so happy to be here with you as well. Anne is sharing, wow, this is such a gift and a blessing to us every day. Thank you. Myra is sharing, I feel peaceful, clear, and receptive. This is such the good news. Thank you so much for your feedback and your reflections, because good morning, Kathy. You haven't missed a thing. We're so happy that you're here. This is why we offer these spiritual tools and resources. It's because they work. And it was something that I personally would practice for years before I revealed it to the world, because I wanted to make sure that it was an effective tool. And every day calling in the circle of empowerment changed my life so much. It's how I've become the person that I am. It was an easy way to remind myself, hey, it's your daily job to mentor these ascended masters, to listen to your spiritual guides, to embody your higher self. That's my get to. That's my sovereign creator responsibility. And if I show up to it, the blessings are huge. Like life begins to move with momentum in the direction that my soul intended it to. The ego structure is always going to try to talk you out of your daily practice. The ego structure is always going, there's going to always be 100 voices in our heads that try to deter us and make us grumpy about our choice to be here in this lifetime. But this circle of empowerment instantly lifts your mood. By the time you come around that circle to that 8th key code of the Sophia dragons, even if you're having an incredibly challenging day, you feel a lightness that lifts you up to a certain level. And depending on how good your day is, you could get extremely blissful from this. But that's all we really need. We really need just some wind in our sails, some wind in our wings, a little bit of support, and we can find our way back to that inner path of our direct communion with our higher self. And we just take it one self-loving step at a time, where we bring our consciousness incrementally higher and higher and higher back to the truth that it's our great get to co-create with our source, with our higher self, the most positive sovereign potential of our day, every day. Your spiritual awakening isn't some grand ascension into heaven and you leave this planet forever. It's just like, have masters shown us that that is possible? Yes. But our spiritual awakening happens at the post office. It happens when we're driving our cars. It happens when we're, making breakfast for our family. It happens when we show up to our desk for work. It's like spiritual awakening is an everyday, very ordinary experience that makes our relationship with life extraordinary. So, stepping into the extraordinary miracle that you are, let's really dive into, for just a moment, this passage from page 4 of the Sophia Code. And this is, we're reading from 1, 2, 3, paragraph 4 from section 2 on page 4. These are the words of Sophia, the divine mother that's given birth to all life. This is not a deity. This is the presence of God, both the primordial space and the light of creation. We have to understand that we are the forms of God. God itself, the source consciousness, its only form is the light and the spaciousness that the light arises from. It is pure consciousness, and we are the manifestation of it. And so that's what Sophia is sharing here. It begins with, in my ineffable mystery, I am the holy black womb of no thing or nothing, that conceived the one source light from which all the worlds of form arise. I bestowed within you a sovereign magnetic power from which your soul assembles the atomic architecture of your human body with the quantum fabric of this pearlescent white light. Everything that you are comes from my original source and exists within my one mind. I mean, there's a reason we're taking these daily transmissions one paragraph at a time. I mean, we could spend hours talking about that one paragraph. But to begin, I'm going to do a guided meditation that's going to help us understand this passage. And it's going to be brief, but it's going to be powerful. So if you're ready, let's go. All right. Let's take a moment. Let's breathe together. Let's take 3 deep breaths together. And feeling into the center of your heart, there's that star of your soul that's like the sun that's blazing within the center of your heart. I invite you to drop the rays of some of those rays of the sun within your heart all the way down to the center of the earth, connecting into the center of the earth. I also invite you to visualize rays of light rising up from your heart, traveling far above your head, far above the ceiling in the room that you are in, far above wherever you are on earth, past the stratosphere, past the sun, moon, and stars, traveling beyond all the galaxies of form, and beyond the many levels, the many, all of creation. Sorry, there's a dog barking extremely loud in my neighbor's house. So I'm just going to let that go and just keep in the moment of this meditation. And we're traveling across every plane of creation, traveling all the way up to the back through the fifth plane, through the sixth plane, into that seventh plane, back to the light of source. And when you connect to it, you're going to feel the light of your soul literally merging with the light of that one source consciousness. Some people call this source Great Spirit. Some people call this source creator of all that is. Some people call it creatrix, divine mother of all that is. This one source consciousness is genderless. But the voice that arises can sound feminine or it can sound masculine, depending on what your heart needs to hear when you speak directly to this source. So when somebody says, well, I hear God as the Father, that's because that's what their heart and their mind needs to hear. It's very safe and reassuring to them that it's the sound of the Father. When someone says, I hear God as the voice of the Holy Mother, that's because that's the voice that their heart needs to hear to fully accept their communion with this source. There are no right or wrong here. All that this consciousness longs for is a direct communion with your soul. And this light washes over your awareness. It lifts you up. And it begins to reset your consciousness that this is the truth of your reality. This is the truth of your origin. This is your true legacy and your true lineage. You are a daughter, a son, a child of the light of all of creation. And this light is perfectly divine. It is absolutely holy. It is totally pure. It is unconditional divine love. It sees and knows everything of all that is. It is within all that is. And it is embracing your direct connection with it today, here and now in this meditation. And you may feel as though your soul just simply relaxes and lets go and expands in oneness with this ocean of light. I invite your consciousness to expand even further into the light and to notice that the more you abide within this one source light, you witness that it is arising from an even deeper space within the seventh plane, and that is a primordial space of nothingness. It is that endless, deep black space that goes on forever. And you notice that the light is literally manifesting, rising out of that black space, that primordial, rich primordial stillness of nothingness. And you witness how that kinetic atomic activity of that light seems to miraculously appear out of that primordial space. That miracle is the concept of an immaculate conception. The light of creation is an immaculate conception of this primordial womb space. This is the truth of reality. This is why we practiced that mantra yesterday that said emptiness is form and form is emptiness. Because the density of form is light moving slow enough for the perception of the human body to experience it as actual physical, as actually being physical. The truth is everything is actually vibrating and moving as energy, especially form. Nothing could exist unless it was based on the foundation of light that you are witnessing here back at the original source point. So everything that you eat, your body, your family members, your homes, the desk that you're sitting at work right now, it's all light. It's all light. It's a foundation of light that's moving slow enough for you to have this dream of being in a physical reality, this classroom here on earth. And so I want you to invite your consciousness to touch into the nothingness that's still black womb space, that is the actual original source point, even for the light of creation that Sophia is sharing about here. And that primordial space is where the deepest listening of your soul can happen. It's where your deepest communion with whatever you call God, Divine Mother, Sophia, Source, Divine Father, that deep presence of stillness is the love that never changes. It's the eternal space of stillness that never changes, regardless of the rise and fall of centuries and evolution and planets and lifetimes and incarnations and births and deaths. This stillness, this presence of God goes on forever. It is the wisdom, it is the divine love from which your soul was born into the light. And when we understand that this is your true divine inheritance, that the fabric of your soul is made up of this primordial presence, consciousness, this eternal space that is an aspect of your soul, as well as this eternal light that continues to reincarnate you across the time-space continuum so you can learn about your divinity, it really sheds some deeper understanding to the meaning of your life, your choice to be human, that we don't have to be terrified of our divine purpose and our service here. Green Tara teaches in the Sophia code, like, how can you cut primordial space with a knife? How can you capture it? This is why your soul is sovereign and free. No matter what experience you have on the earth plane, you're going to continue to live forever. Your soul will go on forever in communion with this presence of God, and you will continue to have greater and greater learning experiences. Does this mean that our present lifetime is trivial? In no way. Does this point to that? What it's saying is, the more we become conscious of what a miracle we are, that we are literally made, our souls are literally arising from this fabric of God consciousness, the primordial space, and the light that gives birth to all life. What does this mirror back to us? What does this invite us into an understanding of? That we truly are sovereign co-creators with the source, that we have unlimited creative power to birth anything into this lifetime and into this world that we have come forward to bring to birth into this world. Your soul has a destiny. Your soul has a divine purpose. Chances are good, if you're here, you have some form of leadership to fulfill. And when we understand that our calling and our power to fulfill the calling comes directly from this source, we understand that we have the ability to fulfill the promises that we made to ourselves long before we ever came into these human bodies. I welcome you to breathe into this primordial womb, into the phenomenon of this pure white light that's arising out of that pure black womb space. Notice how they are in harmony and at one and unified with each other. And I welcome you to tune into the sensation of that primordial womb space that exists within every cell of your body, and that powerful light arising within every cell of your body, directed by your higher self-consciousness, your divinity. That is perpetually keeping your human experience intact, in orbit through the divine love of your source and your higher self, willing it to be so. You are a miracle in motion. When you feel these somatic experiences of the womb and of the light of your soul within your conscious awareness, it alters your day-to-day experience of life in a positive way. It takes the edges off your ego structure. You are able to witness that there is holiness within every opportunity in every moment of life, because this primordial space and this divine light is within all beings. Whether they remember that or not, they couldn't be here if it wasn't within them, animating them, giving them life. And so it allows us to soften into that there is a divine will, there is a divine consciousness within you that is guiding you, that your ego structure is confounded by, and we all have an ego structure if we're in a human body, but that part of us that tries to control us and belittle us or minimize us or keep us safe when it's actually just creating a whole lot of resistances to us experiencing our sovereign potential. When we return to a communion with Sophia within this heart womb transmission, we return to what's really important in life. And what's really important in life is to constantly remember our magnificence in communion with the source, to constantly remember that our soul is the fierce grace of this world. It is the compassion and the light of this world. And that our souls are meant to co-create together a new sovereign paradigm here on earth through our spiritually awakened consciousness to this sovereign divine light and this primordial space that we are. Because if we are consciously basking in this truth, we understand that there are no limits to what we can have, what we can do, and what we can create for our own individual lives, but also for one another and for our future generations. I want to thank you for taking this moment to bask in the presence of the Divine Mother and this source consciousness together with me. It's such an honor to meditate, pray, and conceptualize and understand these teachings together from the Sophia Code. I'm looking forward to being again with you here tomorrow at 8 a.m. Pacific. Please be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel and offer your feedback for how these transmissions are making a difference in your life. It's just so helpful. I'd love to read your feedback, and so do other people as well. When we share our spiritual journey with each other, we start to identify that we're not alone, that we've got each other's backs, and that we're all having a pretty similar journey of spiritual awakening during these pivotal times of change. I also want to mention that for those of you who have been waiting to find out where you can meet me, we've been getting a lot of requests of how can I meet Kaia Ra? I'm going to be in Austin, Texas in May. And we're going to be offering an incredible leadership training immersive called the Sovereign Spiritual Leadership Immersive. You can find out more about that on my website at kaiara.com. There should be a link in this video's description where you can learn more. And I'll be sharing more about that over the next few weeks. But one of the highlights of that conference is we're going to be going over the Stargate 2 curriculum teachings in our mystery school and really expanding upon them. And in the beginning of that Stargate 2 curriculum, I go in depth as to why connecting with this primordial consciousness of the Divine Mother is essential for clear sovereign spiritual leadership. And I'm looking forward to sharing more about that with you in Austin and also here in our daily transmissions. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us live. I love you all so much. Have a blessed and brilliant day, radiating the light of your sovereign divinity into this world. Namaste.